Queen Camilla paid a sweet tribute to her late mother-in-law today as she wore her jewelry to meet a state banquet in France. Camilla, 76, wore Queen Elizabeth's George VI sapphire diamond necklace and earrings, which was a present from her father. Looking incredibly chic in a navy gown from Dior, the new queen showed off some of the most dazzling gems from the royal collection. The necklace and earrings were the first of the George VI sapphire collection to go into the royal vault, given to the late queen as a wedding present from her father. Indeed, she was so fond of them that she commissioned the bracelet and rings in 1963. The latter is unusual as she's said to dislike her hands, so avoids drawing attention to them. The Queen Consort has previously worn the tiara from the same collection. Camilla opted for Her Late Majesty's tiara as she joined King Charles for a luxurious state banquet held in honor of the visiting South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. Meanwhile, Queen Elizabeth donned the jewels with a midnight blue gown for a party at the Ritz to celebrate her Golden Jubilee in 2002 to 22 years after she wore the set with her pink gown. Camilla joined King Charles as he cheered President Emmanuel Macron and spoke about the UK's and France's firm friendship as the couple joined French and British dignitaries and celebrities for a black tie gala at the Palace of Versailles tonight. Their Majesties were guests of honor at a glittering state banquet in the Hall of Mirrors at the Palace of Versailles at the end of a whirlwind first day of their inaugural state visit to France. The king told the president, "Your generosity of spirit brings to mind how my family and I were so greatly moved by the tributes paid in France to my mother, the late queen, whose funeral took place 1 year ago yesterday. Mr. President, among the many profoundly moving gestures here, the flying of the Union flag at the Élysée was particularly poignant. Your words, at that time, meant a great deal to us too. You said that she had touched your hearts, and it was she who held France in the greatest affection, as, of course, did my grandmother Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. My parents' first official visit together was to France in 1948, shortly after their wedding. By all accounts, they made quite a splash, dancing till the early hours at the glamorous Chez Carrère in the Rue Pierre Charon, serenaded by Edith Piaf. I suspect it may have left an indelible impression on me, even 6 months before I was born. La Vie en Rose is one of my favorite songs to this day. The king also said relations between the UK and France have not always been straightforward, but went on to stress the unity between the nations. Charles also mentioned the importance of Britain working with France to tackle climate change. He went on, "Mr. President, in all of this we can rely on our firm friendship, which is renewed and reinvigorated with each new generation. I would like, if you would allow me, to raise a toast to President and Madame Macron and to the French people, as well as to our Entente Cordiale, a sustainable alliance. Whatever lies ahead, may it endure, faithful and constant, for centuries to come." President Emmanuel Macron added that France and Britain would rise up to the challenges of the modern world despite the tensions created by Brexit. Despite Brexit, I know, Your Majesty, that we will continue to write part of the future of our continent together, to meet the challenges and to serve the causes we have in common, Macron said in a toast describing Charles' visit as a tribute to our past. And guarantee of the future. Inside the dazzling hall of mirrors, guests stood and bowed or curtsied as the king and president, followed by the Queen and Madame Macron, walked a loop of the room before taking their seats at the center, facing the palace gardens. The king sat with the president to his left and Madame Macron to his right. She in turn was seated alongside actor Hugh Grant, who greeted the monarch with a bow. The Queen sat 2 seats away from Sir Mick Jagger and opposite Foreign Secretary James Cleverly. The king read along as Mr. Macron gave a touching and, at times, amusing speech in French in which he paid tribute to the late Queen and Prince Philip. He also touched on the long history of hosting British royalty in the Hall of Mirrors. Describing the French fascination with their near neighbors, he cited the works of Shakespeare, the words of Churchill and the music of the Beatles as beloved by his countrymen. There was laughter as he added, gesturing to Sir Mick Jagger, "I should also say the Rolling Stones." Guests dined off the service d'oiseaux, decorative bird motif plates made by the famous Porcelaine de Sèvres, at a 60 meters long table decorated with locally sourced roses and hydrangeas in shades of pink, purple and white. Dishes were served up from a temporary kitchen as historically, the vast palace has never had a full working kitchen because only the king and queen ate there. Before the king and queen's arrival at the banquet, celebrity guests mingled with diplomats and politicians. Gunners fan Sir Mick was seen discussing football with former Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger. Queen Camilla dazzled in diamonds and sapphires tonight as President Macron kissed her hand and King Charles declared their welcome to France Magnifique. Among them was French royalty, actress and singer Charlotte Gainsbourg, in a black dress split to the thigh which barely covered her modesty, as the locals say. Celebrity guests included Sir Mick Jagger, who owns a chateau in France, French-British actress Emma Mackey, as well as footballing legends with ties to England and France including Patrick Vieira, Arsene Wenger and Didier Drogba. Camilla and Bridget, 70, matched in navy ball gowns while Charles and Emmanuel opted for black bow ties and dinner jackets. In a nod to her hosts, Camilla dressed in Dior and was draped with a stunning parure of jewelry inherited from her late mother-in-law, Queen Elizabeth. She and the king were greeted by Macron and his wife, Bridget, on the red carpet. And in a sweet moment, which summed up the entente cordiale of the day, Macron could be seen carefully adjusting Camilla's cape after it slid down her shoulder and she struggled to fix it.